All right, everybody. I know it's been a while. Been held up with some medical issues, but that's a whole nother story. We're here to talk about this Hudson. Right now, it's pretty much the same point I left it with the last video. Haven't been able to do anything to it at all. It's been really bothered me that it's just setting out here, and I'm not able to do anything with it, but I figured I'd come out and make a video. I'm starting to feel a whole lot better now, so I can get up and get out here and start doing some stuff. But I'm going to go through the vehicle here. I realize that I haven't went through the vehicle and explained where I am with it, what I'm working with, and my ideas. This is going to be the video for that. I'm going to start at the rear of the vehicle. Let's move over here to the trunk. You can see tail lights are gone. There's some holes drilled in it here and there. These are original. These are not. There's some extra holes in this where they swapped out the tail lights with some different, better looking, I suppose, Hudson tail lights. I'll be putting those back in. I'm going to clean all this up. I'm going to get rid of these holes, smooth everything out as much as I can. Bumper's going to be gone. All of this will be smoothed out with a pan. Trunk lid itself, not too bad. Some dents here and there. I have several of them marked. What I'm going to, when I get to them, I get to them. If maybe I won't, I don't know. So let's open this thing up here. And we can see there's nothing really in there. Now, when I got the car, it was just a giant rusty mess. Big hole rusted. I'd say 60% of this trunk panel was gone. Just a hole there. And they'd been driving this car at some point. I found some old pictures of this vehicle with a small block Ford in it, and they were driving it around, and they had just put a piece of flat steel over the hole, which, whatever. Not something I would do, but I'm not that cheap. But yeah, so, I cut all that out, or I've been working on cutting it all out. I'm actually going to just only replace from here over on each side. Then I'm going to build in for a probably 15 to 18 gallon fuel cell. Haven't decided yet. Put that in there, so I won't have to do the entire trunk pan, even though I bought one that didn't fit exactly right. I'm going to, work around with that and get that all worked out. Then I'm going to thinking about putting some wood flooring in here. We'll see once it gets there. I'm not sure. Rear axle probably should go, but I'm going to try to clean it out and see if I can get it to operate the way it's supposed to. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I don't know. The suspension, however, will go. I would like to replace that with some bags. We'll see what's in the budget. When I get to that point. That's a little later down the road still. It's the rear of the car. I'm going to move around to the side. All right, here we are, the side of the passenger side of the Hudson. You can see my terrible body work that I've started on and have not come close to completing. One day I will. I've got a hole right here, and I just slapped there is some fiberglass in there, but I'm just going to cover it, Like I said, this isn't going to be a perfect looking vehicle, and I don't care about that. Now, originally this vehicle was a two-tone blue, dark blue and light blue. Of course, now this is only primer, some different primers that I had sitting around, and just wanted to spray it on to keep this from rusting while it's sitting in my garage. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, that would have been a great patina," and honestly, it didn't look bad. For that look, but where I live, it would not last. I don't care how much you try to take care of it, how much you coat it, you can do whatever. and it's not going to last. And I really didn't want to have to deal with it every time I wanted to take it outside and have to worry about rain or, did I put enough oil on it or whatever. So, so I'm going to make it. I'm going to spray it later down the road. I might even just drive it like it is for a little while. But anyhow, that's the passenger side. I've replaced the rocker panels on both sides. I got those pretty cheap. They didn't fit exactly right. I was kind of expecting that. But, it actually worked out well enough that I'm happy with it. So, that's pretty much it. Both sides are the same, of course. The glass, I'm probably going to keep the door glass has to be switched out. They're not in very good shape. I'll probably keep these for now. I'll probably make some Lexan windows for the doors since they're flat. I'll probably make those myself. I'm thinking about something special with those, but I won't let that out right now. Once I get to that point, I'll let you guys know. Or if you bug me enough, I'll tell you. But anyhow, there's the side of it all the way up to the front fender. A lot of work still to be done, but hey, it's not bad. So I'm going to move to the interior, and I'll show you some stuff. Well, I tell you, it's been a while since I've been out here to look around at this thing a whole lot. And man, did I leave it in a mess. Anyhow, there's the floor pans that I replaced. It's one of the first things I did to the vehicle. Again, the floor pans were gone. There was no metal left at all whatsoever. And they had actually got fiberglass panels. The previous owners had fiberglass panels that they laid over the little bit of frame that's under here on both sides, and then fiberglassed it in onto this centerpiece here, which is still metal somewhat. And they were actually using the vehicle that way, which, worse things have been done, I suppose. But like I said, I'm not that cheap, but I'm cheap though. So I put those floors in. I actually put some rails. They're hard to see, but I put some rails along the perimeter on two sides of this, here and here, which gave me enough space to be able to run some hardwood floor. Now that was my original plan, was to put hardwood floor in this, in the back and partially in the front. I think I've changed my mind on that. Not 100% yet, but this is what I've got to work with. No door panels. I've got the door handles, the window cranks, part of that window crank. Missing a lot of stuff, but I can make this stuff. Not a big deal. Just a little bit of time, a little bit of money, some aggravation. But, you can get it done. Not everything has to cost, $50,000, or $150 for each door panel, or, $250 for a headliner. You don't have to do it that way. It all depends on what you're willing to live with. And I'm willing to live with me saving some money and having a car that I built myself. And I'm sure a lot of other people feel the same way. Now, like you can see, maybe you can see in the back here, that's into the trunk. Now, I do have seats. The seats were in this with the original upholstery still on them somewhat. Rear seat was actually in good condition. Front seat, of course, was tore apart pretty bad. But I've started to reupholster those already, and they're looking pretty good. So won't be too long, and those will be finished, I hope. And I'll give you a look at those. But of course, the dash, I've got somebody painted this at some point and did a terrible job. I'm actually going to wrap this if my funds are good enough. I'm going to wrap this in leather, my own way. I don't like that pristine kind of stuff on a vehicle like this, really. But get the clock, speedometer, radio, which I'm sure none of it will work. I'm going to try it though. Steering wheel, original steering wheel, which needs some work. Column shift, which I'm thinking about working into my exhaust cutouts, so I can control the cutout with the lever on the steering wheel. I don't know. I'm going to try it. Still need to replace this floor pan. That floor pan probably will replace. I might be able to save it. I don't know. There's really no holes in it that aren't supposed to be there, so I'll have to just check it out and see. Brakes. I'm going to keep the setup that's here. I'm going to clean it up a lot. Change some things, update some stuff, replace the master cylinder, of course, brake lines, everything that goes with that. But yeah, as far as the interior, I can do all of this myself. I have never done upholstery work, and you'll see my seats when I get them finished, and I'll show them to you. But I think they turned out pretty well. I've never sewn before. I got a free sewing machine. I bought some cheap vinyl and different things that I could find that I thought went well together, and I just went at it. And I tell you, I really like the way it turned out, but you'll see it later on. So yeah, that's the interior and what I've got to work with. So let's move on up to the front of the vehicle and the engine bay. All right, so this is an area that some of you have seen already. And man, I've got a lot of work to do, but I can't really do a whole lot until I get my engine situation figured out. Now, if you watch the other videos, you know what engine I'm going to put into this, which is the 7.3 Power Stroke turbo diesel that I bought for, actually I got the entire vehicle running and driving for $200. Needed a starter. I put a starter and a battery in it and, drove it home. So $200 in that, and I got the car for free. Spent a little bit of money on, sheet metal and little things. Man, I'm doing pretty good so far. We'll see how that goes. But so until I can get an engine in this, I can't do everything here. Now I can do a lot of cleanup. Do some welding and some fixing of things. Now this firewall, I had to trim it out. It was hacked up pretty bad. I'm not sure why, but it had some pretty bad holes in it. Now I've kind of cleaned up these cuts here. Now it looks rough, but that's insulation in there. I need to pull it out and replace everything. This side is actually pretty much how it looked when I got it. Man, anyhow, I've got to clean all that up and fix it, but I can't weld anything in there until I know where the diesel engine is going to sit. That way, because it's going to sit back far because of all of this here. And I figured out I can't replace this. I almost bought a Mustang 2 kit to put in this vehicle, which would have moved the steering to the front, new rack and pinion, the whole deal. But I realized that even with that, coming from my wheel center line, the cross member then would have been moved back to that center line, and I wouldn't have gained really any room here at all. So the engine would still be sitting far back and actually inside this hole, which isn't a big deal. I can build that in. I don't care to do that. But yeah, that's where I am with that. Still trying to figure out some stuff. I want to get rid of the steering because I don't like it. For one, it's not bad for what the car is and what it's going to be used for. It's not bad steering, and it actually still works with the diesel engine sitting in there. I have room for it, but it is extremely tight. And if I needed to replace anything or even grease some fittings, I can't. There's not enough room. So what I'm wanting to do is remove this and use a rear steer rack and pinion, maybe from Cavalier or something like that. Cut off the steering wheel shaft, put a joint, and going down to that, and maybe I can work that out to give me a little bit more room there, so I can move that engine forward just a little bit. I'm not sure how much room I'm going to get, if any, but I won't be out a whole lot of money. And with the Mustang 2 front end, I was looking at about $1,500 plus the installation time and all that, which I would have done, but it wasn't worth it to me right now to buy. Now, maybe in the future, and maybe after I take it out on the road the first time with that diesel engine, I might regret not changing everything out. But, for now, I want to keep it how it is. I'm going to save some money. I'm actually initially going to put my 302 into this engine bay that I've had here for a while, automatic transmission. I'm going to bolt it in there, get it to where it can move under its own power. That way I can move it around in the garage easier and work on some things, know exactly what I need to do, what needs work, what doesn't. Work on the suspension. Like I said, I would love to swap all this over to airbags. We'll see how that plays out monetarily. But for right now, my plan is install the 302 small block Ford and the automatic transmission just to get it going. That'll keep me interested in the project too if I have something that I can actually start up every once in a while. Get everything worked out, brake lines, whatnot, steering, all of that sort of thing. And then once I get my harness for the diesel engine, once I get that harness worked out and get it back to the house and I can hook everything up, make sure it works, then I can take the 302 out and put the 7.3 in and switch out the radiator, of course, and all that deal. That's another thing. I'm going to have a radiator made, I believe. The radiator for the 7.3 that came out of the van that I got the engine from is, of course, gigantic and doesn't come close to fitting in here. So my thoughts are taking out the radiator support here, possibly notching the frame, doing what I got to do, whatever I have to do to get a radiator fit in here that's going to cool that engine. So if you guys have any thoughts about that, actually, let me know. Put it in the comments. I'm really curious if you can point me in some direction, somebody that can do that or has knowledge of that. I would love to know because I have to get that sorted out. Of course, front bumper. I have the front bumper, the original one. It's not in too bad shape. I could clean it up and have it re-chromed, but of course I'm not going to do that because re-chroming is not cheap, and I am. So I'm probably going to remove this, straighten it out as much as I can, reinstall it, and go to a local parts yard where they have a lot of older vehicles and see what I can find and piece something together, build something myself. I don't know yet. We're going to figure it out. Headlights. I'm not sure, honestly, if these are the original buckets for the headlights. It seems to me like this was something that was added on later to put a newer style headlight, sealed beam headlight in there. I'm not positive on that, though. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'll figure it out. And that's how I work. I would love to do some work here, extend this out a little. I'm not sure yet. But that's cosmetic stuff. Windshield's not too bad. I'll keep it the way it is for now. This vent, actually, it actually still works up and down, which it took me a while to get it freed up, and now it works just fine. I'm actually going to try to use that as my filter and intake box that will feed the engine once it's in there. So that'll be my intake. And of course the filter element will be inside the box that is in here already. This will stay open all the time if that's the case. And yeah, I know. What about water? What about sucking up water? Well, I'll suck up water. As long as I don't get too much, I'll be fine. But anyhow, yeah, so that's the Hudson and where it is right now. That's my ideas on it. If you guys have any ideas, if you want to tell me I'm an idiot because this car is too far gone, then go ahead. I've heard it hundreds of times already. If you have any good ideas, something that you'd like to see done to the vehicle, let me know. That kind of thing is what keeps me going, keeps guys like me going, and get this car built and get it on the road. So yeah, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for being here and waiting during my time of absence. We'll catch you next time, hopefully in about a week.